Bonjour, je suis Laurent Mézoué. Vous allez découvrir aujourd'hui Adrian, cofondateur de l'organisation Desserto, qui conçoit du cuir végétal à base de cactus. Je vous souhaite une très bonne écoute. Hello, Adriano. I would like to thank you first very much for being and sharing with Impact Earth today. So we're going to discuss today about your company. Very interesting. Your company name is Desserto, which is producing vegan leather. So first, could you tell me how did you come up with that idea of producing vegan leather?
Absolutely. Thank you for calling and giving us this space. So everything began after Marta and I work in the fashion, in the automotive, even in the furniture industry. We were both aware of the environmental impact that this industry is having, given the use of leather, fox leather, and non-sustainable or environmentally friendly materials. So we saw that there was a genuine interest of the industry to try to shift to a more sustainable practices, but they were lacking the options, the viable options. There were at the time, I remember some materials that were they were not complying with the quality standards, with the quality standards of this industry. So these were not viable, and so we decided to do something about it, knowing the demands in terms of quality of the industries, to do our own R&D and create a solution that can fit the needs of these industries, but at the same time to offer the sustainable competitive edge, right? And so that's how we started to work on this project, and we selected cactus for many reasons besides being Mexicans, and this cactus being so abundant in Mexico. It's this species is the one that it's very abundant and native from Mexico. So it made a lot of sense to do our R&D around it.
And so, what could you be more specifics on the benefits of the cactus, and how is it sustainable? I mean, how do you respect plant environment?
Sure. Well, the first thing is that the cactus, besides being native from this region where our farm is at, and having the world's highest concentration of this species over there, it is highly efficient in handling water, absorbing CO2, and this cactus is a perennial plantation or species. That means that we only have to plant one time, and the plantation is going to last for about 8 years. Opposite to other plantations like corn, which has to be cultivated, harvest, and then cultivate again. So, and this is annually. So the cactus, besides being native and typical of this region, it is also a CAM or CAM a plant, which means that it is a crassulation acid metabolism. That means it is different from most plants, which their metabolism is more it is making chlorophyll with relying on the sun. Here the cactus works during nighttime, so it's absorbing CO2 during night. It is absorbing water during the morning, very early. It absorbs the dew of the morning and absorbs the water it needs, opening its stomach. So it has a lot of biomass, and we don't have to do any water irrigation in the fields. So it is that's why this plant, it was very attractive for us, because it's very efficient. It absorbs a lot of CO2. It doesn't need a lot of care. It's a fully organic plantation. We don't use fertilizers. We don't use herbicides or pesticides. We don't have to do water irrigation. So this plant is like the best, right? It's highly efficient. So different from most plants, which I was mentioning, like the C3 species, which are the ones that that I was mentioning with the chlorophyll and working with sunlight. Cactus, it metabolism protects and use water very efficiently. So the C3 plants have a chlorophyll metabolism. The cactus has the CAM or crassulacean acid metabolism. This is the main difference. So for example, C3 class are like corn, like apple trees, etc. And these plants need on average 1,000 liters of water to create one kilogram of dry matter or dry material. And cactus only needs 200 liters. But since, as I mentioned, its stoma opens early in the morning to absorb the morning dew, and that's how it gets its water. Then these 200 liters are automatically absorbed by the plant. We don't have to use more water. It's just present already in the atmosphere. And so this was one of the big advantages that we started to see when investigating, because then we are on one side reducing water, reducing chemicals, well, we don't use any chemical at all. Our plantations are certified under USDA organic, and we have another couple certifications like OKO from Germany. And so it was just like it had to offer a huge competitive advantage. So currently we have 40 acres of land, and about 10% of these fields are designated for deserto. The rest is directed to the food industry as supplements. So we don't really interfere with the food industry. Opposite to that, we stimulate the plantation of more, but since the fields are already open for cultivation, there is no deforestation. There is opposite to that, we are planting a native species of that region that it's blending with the natural ecosystem of the region. So we are foresting, not deforesting, right? And so we don't cut any plants. This cactus species, it blends in the biodiversity. It blends with the wild flora and fauna. It absorbs more CO2, emits more oxygen. Since we don't use any chemicals, as I mentioned, we actually stimulate the microflora and the microfauna of the soil. So wild or native fauna from the region, like hogs, they find a favorable environment to find aliment or food. So then after the cactus is obtained, after the plant is grown, we select and cut only the mature leaves, but the plant is left intact. So then we use that as our raw material. We clean it, we mesh it, we dry it under the sun. So we rely on solar energy, and then we further process it to transport to Mexico City, where the mill is located at, and then that's where we do all the patent mixology or the formulation to have the finished product. So basically, in the cactus leaves that we cut are going to grow back in about 6 to 8 months, and so it's a circular harvesting, but from the same plants.
Okay. And so what are the main processes of making leather from cactus?
Well, the main process, as I mentioned, first is to get the leaves, you mesh, you dry, and then you have we do a protein extract, and then we have to balance the whole formulation, and then we mix it with pigments to give color. We can use different kind of materials to combine with. We play with biodegradable textiles, with recycled fabrics, etc. And then, of course, there are many more other aspects of the vial formulation, which I can't describe in detail. But then, at the end of the day, you have a material that, depending on which line of product you choose to play with, if one is the recycling mix materials, and the other one is with the biodegradable ones. So we tackle the environmental pollution problem from two aspects. One is by avoiding the further accumulation of waste by making biodegradable materials, and the other one is by recovering waste that is already out there in landfills or oceans, give it a second life, but also enhancing it with biodegradable compositions. So at the end of the day, you rescue material, and then when the material gets back to a landfill or to the ocean, a big part of it is going to biodegrade, but you are not polluting further, right? So it's that's the whole concept that comes from the organic plantations, and that we try to bring as much as possible of that all the way to the end, to the end cycle of the material, pursuing a circular life of the materials.
So your company is a very good example for the preservation of the environment. What would be your message and your vision you would like to expand to the world?
Well, I think that the message would be to work with nature, not against it. I think that there's a lot of things that we still have to discover on ways of working with nature and bringing products of quality and performance, but that don't compromise the wellness of the environment. And I think that the technology is going to evolve around it. It's going to evolve around sustainability. It's not like a luxury anymore. It is more of a necessity. It's a responsibility of us all to try to find ways of not retroceding in technology, but bringing that further or boosting that along nature. And I think that in that sense, we are going to be able to create a much more sustainable economy. It's going to bring the fields or the farms closer to the huge industrial markets like fashion, automotive, and by doing so, it's not just an environmental benefit, but it's also economical for everybody. It's good for the environment. It's good for bringing technology from one sector to another, to have technology exchange. And by doing that, we can entangle different industries and benefit from the know-how of so many industries that most of the times are fragmented. And by collaborating and working together in a responsible, moral, ethical way, which is part also of sustainability, we can achieve more.
Very good. Thank you very much, Adriano. Thank you very much for your message. This is a good pleasure to share with you today. And we Impact Earth wish you a great success.
Thanks, Laurent. Okay. We will definitely be keeping you posted on our new developments.
I hope so. Good. Thank you very much and see you soon. Je vous remercie. J'espère que cette interview vous a plu. N'hésitez pas à liker, commenter et partager et à vous abonner à ma chaîne YouTube. À très bientôt.